Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I don't know,
great.
I cannot.
Henry,
Am I on the screen? Am I on the screen there? Or I cannot see myself.
yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I can see you this way, but okay. Henry, thank you very much for joining us live from the United States. I always appreciate your insight and exceptional views about how economy goes and how markets evolve. I have essentially, we have since about a maximum 30 minutes, but probably less than that. So I would like to move on to essentially three key questions, broad questions. One has to do with the big picture, how the world economy, geopolitics evolve at the moment, how best we should be ready to cope with this. The second has to do with the main theme of this conference, that is AI-driven industrial transformation. How do you see this revolution goes, and are there any risk side of it, and how best we should manage all those. Third, before I close, I would like to have your perspective on Korean economy and Korean stock market in particular, because MSCI is the most important index maker around the world. So we are very keen to know how you feel about Korean market now and in the coming days. So with that, let's get started, Henry. Now we hear a lot of things these days about hyper uncertainty. There's multiple crises, tremendous challenges we have from geopolitical tensions to macroeconomic uncertainties, conditions change. And as of now, still this Middle East situation is very unsettled. So all things together, how do you see this global economic geopolitical environment, and how we should navigate, if you like, these turbulences?
So first of all, thank you again for having me speak to your audience and your conference. As you know, Dr. John, we've been friends for almost 2 decades, and I very much enjoy our conversations, and I very much enjoy these conferences because it gives me an opportunity to learn from what you're all thinking, to learn about obviously South Korea, and to give you my perspective. So quite a welcome opportunity. There is no doubt that the world is going through a series of secular structural changes that are going to reshape industries, companies, countries, and of course reshape competitive advantage. From our vantage point, we see three big areas of dramatic change in the world, which affects the global economies and obviously affect the regions and the countries. There is a new political and economic order being developed as we speak in terms of the realignment of big powers, U.S., China, for example, and a realignment of relations among regions and countries. Some of them are political, especially in national security, and some others are obviously economic in nature. So there is a major realignment and everyone has been talking about what is the new economic and political order that will emerge, out of this. The second one is, of course, climate change. It is not in the forefront of the policy makers around the world, but climate change continues to change. The climate continues to change, and there is an inexorable move on that. And I think we all have gone from analyzing the transition to a net zero world, which was what had been discussed a few years ago, to now focus intensely on the actual physical risks of climate. And those are going to create significant differentiation between countries and regions, and obviously competitive advantage as well. And of course, the third big trend is artificial intelligence and the effect that that's also going to have on countries and nations and industries and sectors, and the realignment that will exist about that. And of course, the realignment that will exist, in terms of labor and employment, and the way industrial companies operate, the way service companies operate, etc. So we are at any point in time, just one of these challenges will already be big, but we're facing all three of them at the same time. And then, because of the geopolitical realignment, we also have two wars going on in Ukraine and Iran. And the war in Iran is, I don't have to tell you, in South Korea, but it is causing severe energy supply cuts, and the effects that all of that will have in the Asian economies and the global economies. I personally believe that the financial markets are a little bit too complacent to the potential effects of this possible energy crisis. Three big forces shaping now. Like any other big period of change in the world, there are a lot of winners, but there are a lot of losers in that process, but there is also a lot of winners. And a lot of companies in the world are trying to adjust, but they're not embracing these changes. They're not getting ahead of them. They're not anticipating them. And I think that they are going to not adjust fast enough. In periods of significant change, there is downside, there is risk and downside, but there's also significant opportunities. When you have a bull market and low volatility and not a lot of secular change, it's very hard to differentiate your company or your country from others. But it is in periods like this that the smart people, the diligent ones, the ones that take risks, the ones that anticipate, and the ones that adapt fast are the ones that are going to capitalize and benefit from the opportunities that we have in front of us.
That's great. Thank you for your very insightful perspectives. Let me move on to the core question that we have at this conference, that is AI-related industrial transformation. Now, here my question to you is that certainly there is a huge AI-related excitement or euphoria, as someone put it. What is your sense about the pace or the market reaction and industrial reaction in terms of new investment, massive investment in data centers and so forth? What is your take on the current development along this line and prospect?
So first of all, this is an enormously big technological change in the world, probably one of the biggest ones in human history. And it's also a different kind of change. Most technological change in the past was about leveraging or substituting muscle and force in humans. This is a change that is going to either leverage or substitute human thinking, human reasoning. And therefore, it's very dramatic, and it is very, very different. It's moving very fast. I spend a great deal of my time in Silicon Valley, probably about 20 to 30% of my time in Silicon Valley per year. And a lot of it is I'm on the board of trustees of Stanford University. I'm very much associated with the business school and the computer science schools there. And therefore, I get the chance to talk to a lot of the founders and the thinkers of that region. And the number one word that everyone talks about as it relates to AI is speed. The speed of change is unprecedented. And this is already a region of the world that has always faced significant technological change and created. So everyone thinks that the speed of change here is like nothing they have seen before. And when you sit outside Silicon Valley in other financial centers, Seoul, Tokyo, Hong Kong, London, Frankfurt, even New York, you don't realize how dramatic these changes are and how fast they're happening. So that's the first thing to understand. Secondly, is that this is going to affect not only industrial change, industrial transformation. This is going to affect pretty much every fabric and any activity of society, from social interactions, of course, to medicine. One of the biggest applications on AI right now is in clinical studies of new drugs, for example. And it's going to affect financial markets and the way people invest capital and trade capital. And of course, it's going to significantly affect employment. Some studies have indicated that eventually AI will affect 40% of employment in the world and 60% in developed markets. That doesn't mean that those employees will get laid off. It just means it will affect how they do things. So it's an incredible change. In our own company at MSCI, in our own industry, which is based on large amounts of data, developing of every kind of model, financial model, and the use of technology to do both, we see that it has come crashing down on our sector. Many of the companies in our sectors, their market cap is down 30, 40, 50% because of the potential negative impact on that. Fortunately for us at MSCI, we've been spared those changes because people think that we're going to be one of the winners. But it's going to go through industry by industry, and again, there will be a lot of winners and there'll be a lot of losers. And I think that talking to an audience here of business people, you just have to embrace change. You have to embrace this technology. You have to be paranoid about it. You need to make it as ubiquitous in your company, in your country, and you need to look at all the potential benefit that it has, and look at the things that will affect you negatively, and respond to that. It is just really daunting and really unimaginable, the impact of this and the speed at which is proceeding.
Okay, thank you very much. So in short, my take of what you have said, is essentially the profound, widespread, and most likely long-lasting impact of this AI revolution should be taken differently from the experience we had like a dot-com bubble.
Yeah, and what I would also say, Dr. John, is that on a day-to-day basis, we do focus on some of the crises at hand, like the Iran war, the supply chain, the tariffs, from the U.S., because those are here and now. They're present. A change like AI is going to be dramatically more impactful than geopolitical realignment, and therefore that's what we. But it's an incredible opportunity for the world. It's an incredible opportunity for Korea. Korea is one of the countries that is most advanced, most embracing of new things, new technology, and all of that. And I think that you need to come out of this process as being one of the leading centers in the world in AI. It may not be the development of the models, because others will do that, but it will be the application of those models into all your activities in the country.
Okay, thank you for your very kind words about Korea. Korea's fast move with AI revolution. I appreciate that very much. Now, before we close, the question that I have to raise with you is about your perception, meaning MSCI's perception of Korean market. You have said in the beginning that our 20 years of good friendship. I very much cherish that, and I'm grateful for our trusted friendship over the years. One thing that remains unsettled here is that we started talking about Korea's moving into developed country category 20 years ago. That hasn't changed much, unfortunately. So what would you say to us? Now, given that Korean market has shown remarkable growth, performance over the last a year or so, and resilience also they demonstrated, even during this US-Iran war. There's cases where big drops in the stock market, but rebounded very strongly. So have shown resilience also. So you have to tell us. I shouldn't say you have to tell us, but I hope you say something about how close we are and what needs to be done, if there's any specific things to make our kind of desire to move into the developed country category, especially important for our NPS. CIO is here at the moment, who's managing more than $1 trillion of assets. So please, you have to say something on this before I close.
Absolutely, and I always welcome the opportunity to talk about this openly and directly. First of all, congratulations on continuing to set records in the valuation of the Korean market. I always thought that when people talk about the Korea discount, and especially they would ascribe the discount to MSCI, I never thought that was correct. I never thought it was the appropriate assessment. Because Korea is an incredibly well-developed economy, very competitive, very flexible, and has demonstrated recently that it can go through transitions of political power without a big problem. Of course, there have been issues, but without there's been a transition and a peaceful transition of power. So I think some of the Korea discount is disappearing, because of the realization of that. So I always thought that the MSCI upgrade to developed market of the country was more of a variable to make the Korean market more successful than it was just simply to make it successful. So I want to open up my comments with that because they're very important in your view and understanding of the country and the valuation of the country. To us at MSCI, as you know, we divide up the world into three types of countries: developed markets, emerging markets, and frontier markets. The initial cut it has to do with economic development and economic growth and certain matters like that, which Korea is for sure a developed market, by any view or any assessment. So then for, the issue then boils down to is the ability of transact in the Korean equity markets in a way that it is congruent to what other developed markets in the world do. So this is where Korea has come short, of that, because when you go to any other developed market, the number one principle is you need to buy the currency before you buy the equities. And when you sell the equities, then you need to sell the currency. And in any developed market in the world, you can buy and sell the currency in the spot markets in the countries that you are coming from. So in America or in Germany or in the UK or in Japan or anywhere that you're in, you can buy and sell the currency of the other countries at your convenience at the time that you would like it to do, and then buy the equities when the market opens, obviously in Korea. So Korea has decided, for a lot of very important reasons, including the 97 financial crisis, that doesn't want to let the Korean won trade freely in the spot markets around the world. They're forward markets, but not spot markets, and therefore it becomes a significant obstacle to the free trading of and the free allocation of capital between one set of securities and another, between one country and another one, when you don't have the ability to trade the currency. So the answer by the Korean government has been, why don't we set up a day session and a night session so that the foreigners can come to Korea to trade the local currency. We are watching to see how that will work. We are hopeful that it does work, but it is not something that is easily achievable in terms of deep liquidities in the market. So that's the first thing that we're grappling with in the upgrade. The second one is the process of transacting between accounts. If you have a portfolio of a lot of different securities and you have a lot of different clients, you typically buy the securities and then allocate them, easily across the world in every other market that is developed, and you don't have to go through a big burdensome registration process and allocation process and all of that, and that is a major headache for international investors in Korea. The third component is the free availability of hedging instruments in the Korean market around the world. In developed markets, you can buy a swap, an option, a futures contract, an index options contract anywhere in the world, in the other country, and there's been severe restrictions imposed by the country and the entities in the country on the ability of doing that on any instrument, any index, any basket or anything. So that has caused a lot of problems for people when they want to hedge and they want to what is called cash equitize and all of that. And lastly, and obviously because of the recent events, is the issue of short selling and the banning of short selling. A lot of other countries in developed markets have done that from time to time, for sure. But I think the extent and the depth that Korea did it has caused significant reservations on the part of developed market investors. So those are the things that we're dealing with. We realize that the government is very much conscious of that and is very much trying to address these issues, and we are working with the government officials to do that. But we need to see it in practice. Our clients need to see it working before we set up any kind of consultation. So those are, I hope that was helpful to frame the discussions about that. And I just want to summarize, this is not a question of economic development. This is not a question of being a leading edge in technology. This is not a question of having extremely good financial institutions in the country. This is all about the plumbing of investing around the world in developed markets in a large portfolio that you want to adjust freely and very efficiently. And there Korea comes short compared to any other developed market.
Thank you, Henry, for all your 4 specific areas for improvement on our side. I'm sure we proper authorities have taken note of what you have said just before very carefully. We'll get there soon, I believe. But because time is up, I would like to thank you one more time. I appreciate your time and your insight with our audience and viewers. I very much look forward to seeing you in person, as we talked about before, or later this year. Okay, till then, stay safe and healthy. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, and enjoy the conference.
Okay, thank you.